I wanted to record a reaction to a post from Maximilian Dier. He is a disposition manager for RFP homes in the DFW area. I read his post with great interest because it echoed a lot of my thoughts that I have had for a while. I just don't have a lot of people to share my thoughts with, unlike Maximilian. He had a lot of subscribers. So anyhow, let me read it to you. And then I'm a realtor, and he's a realtor too, by the way. So he had the same kind of access to the data as I do. Wanted to record this reaction video because sometimes my thoughts are corresponding with Maximilian thoughts, and sometimes they're a little bit different. So I just want to throw it out there. Okay. So Maximilian says, did the real estate market crash start in June? And I would say no more than the real estate market crash started in June of 2023. So in June of 2023, we had a very similar trend. Let me, I just did a video showing you the comparison between the market stats for 2023 and 2024. They very much track each other, except that the inventory is higher now than it was in 2023. It just, I wouldn't call it a crash. I would call it a normal seasonal change aggravated by a higher number of unsold homes. Here's my view as an insider, and now he's dealing with off-market homes. So for those of you who are wholesalers, pay attention. This is super interesting. As an investor, a realtor, and a wholesaler, and let me tell you, every aspect of real estate is slowing down. I would say yes, overall, but not everywhere at the same rate. So for example, the way that it's slowing down in Princeton is different than the way it's slowing down in Frisco. It's different than the way it's slowing down in, let's just say, Fort Worth. And it's different than it's slowing down in Forney. So even though Frisco, Forney, and Fort Worth are all slowing down, they're not slowing down at the same rate. And their prices are not slowing down the same way. We have all heard of a commercial crisis with office building vacancy skyrocketing, but the truth is multifamily hasn't been looking that hot for a while either. Oversupply, rents are coming down, and cap rates going up. So what about residential? Not good. Now, I'm not a big multifamily investor, so whatever his assessment is, I'm just going to leave it uncommented, but let's switch to the residential. I'm the owner of RFP Homes, a wholesaling brokerage in the DFW, where we disposition properties to investors, ugly homes, small multifamily, and lots. We work with fixer-uppers, buy and hold investors, and new home builders in Dallas-Fort Worth. Let me tell you, the market has slowed substantially. Why? Buyers are not motivated now. Let me make a comment on that. Number one, I have had like 7 listings in the last 2 months, except for 2 of them, which started off in very unfavorable market conditions with a higher price than I would normally recommend. Except for 2, all other ones sold with multiple offers above asking. Okay. Now, disclosure, I'm a 72 sold agent, 72 sold practitioner, 72 sold philosophy, and a practice of selling homes in 3 days with multiple offers. So it's not surprising that if I practice the technique of selling houses in 3 days with multiple offers, that I have multiple houses that sold with multiple offers. It's kind of like duh. But the fact is, buyers are motivated. Otherwise, I wouldn't have sold those homes with multiple offers above asking. The request for housing has not down. Otherwise, I would not have those results either. The problem is that monthly payments right now are biting the buyers too hard, and there's too many homes to choose from. So all of those buyers who are shopping right now, they're going to end up with a house. The inventory, the growth of inventory, that's the problem, not the buyer's motivation, in my opinion. All sales, I mean, everything comes down to either the seller or the buyer having the motivation to transact. Sellers are notoriously slow to get motivated. So he's talking about off-market sellers. It takes sometimes years to set that motivation up. Hold the bag and sell the bottom. Buyers are notoriously slow to get unmotivated. It takes years for the reality to set in. Buy the top and hold the bag. So I would say that buyers, in my opinion, are just as motivated as they were in 2023, last year. When I'm working with buyers, I sense zero difference in their motivation. It's zero. They all want the house for a price that they can afford per month. That's their motivation. Okay. So where I disagree with Maximilian is about the buyer motivation. The seller motivation, that's a different story. Now, many sellers are hesitant to sell because guess what? They bought their home many years ago. Their monthly payment is currently, let's just say, $1,100, $1,200, $1,300 per month on their mortgage. And if they sell right now, even with the cash that the equity that they're going to get from their house, they're still going to end up with a mortgage twice as large as what they currently having now. And they're just kind of a little bit sick at their stomach at the thought of it. So the sellers are motivated. They're just fearful of that large monthly payment. And the buyers are not unmotivated at all. The buyers are motivated. They're just not motivated to buy at the price that they cannot afford, which is not surprising. Right now is what I'm seeing is seeing the sellers slowly getting more motivated, but not to the point of desperation. I agree with that. I'm sensing that as well. I'm sensing that the buyers are a little bit more understanding. So many sellers up until mid or the end of 2023 last year, they were stuck mentally in 2021. They said, well, my neighbor house back in 7 months ago sold it for 800,000. So guess what? I'm not selling mine for a penny more, for a penny less. That's what their mindset. In 2024, I'm actually noticing a shift. They said, yeah, I guess I missed the good days when it sold at 800. So now I'm willing to potentially go to 749, right? Or something like that. You can actually get them to be more reasonable right now. So he's saying, what I'm seeing, the sellers are slowly getting more motivated, but not to the point of desperation. I agree. I hear it over and over again. If nothing else, I will just stay where I am. So except for those cases where it's death, divorce, baby being born, job relocation, except for those cases where an outside factor is putting an unreasonable amount of pressure on the seller, many of them say, hey, let's put it on the market at this high price just to see if anything happens. And if not, I'm going to hold it till the next year. So if you're a wholesaler, you're probably going to get the same situation. People are saying, hey, if you're not going to give me my price, I'm just going to hold until somebody else gives me my price. So I get it. Unemployment is still low, but rising. And there's still stimulus being created by the government. However, the big shift I noticed this month is that the buyers have pulled back. It was quick all of a sudden. They're buying fewer flips, cold, and new builds buying. Okay. Well, I do not know, and I cannot speak for those zip codes and for those markets where I personally was not selling. I put 2 houses under contract with multiple offers in July. I did notice that after the 1st of July, after the 4th of July, my bad, after the 4th of July holiday, it's been kind of empty, but I have 3 homes for sale right now. And they've been kind of empty since the last week of June and until this today. And suddenly I got multiple showings on all of those homes in one day, which is Monday, Tuesday of this week, right after the 4th of July. So I'm thinking maybe he's confusing this 1st of July slowdown with an actual drop. Remains to be seen. But it was kind of sudden. I was surprised that week of 1st of July, 3rd, 4th was really dead. And I was watching the real estate forums or real estate chat groups. Everybody was complaining that their open houses, nobody even visited, not one person, not even a neighbor stopped by. They were really kind of sad about that. So I do agree that it looks like there was a sudden shift, but now I'm seeing the bump again. So we'll see how long that lasts. I think it's simple. Supply skyrocketing. Well, do I agree with that? Yes, I do. In southern states like Florida, Tennessee, and Texas, days in the market is up, price drops are up. There is too much risk. Now, this is what I disagree again. I do not think that the buyers are thinking in terms of risk. if I try to talk to the buyers about risk, their eyes go blank. They don't understand it. They more concerned about their monthly payment. Nobody's telling me, let's wait 2 weeks, 10 weeks, 20 weeks to see if the prices drop again. Not one person is telling me that. Well, maybe one, maybe just one person told me that. The rest of them say, what's available right now? What's your approximate monthly payment? Can I afford it? Can the seller do a buy down of my monthly payment? Those are the conversation that I'm having with the buyers, not whether there's risk in the market. If I try to explain the concept of risk to most of the buyers, they won't get it. They won't. That's not how they think. In my opinion, a real estate crash is happening in many cities across the US. Now, I cannot speak to any cities across the US except for the ones where I sell, which happen to be, Dallas, Fort Worth, Frisco, Allen, for me, you name it, DFW. In the DFW area, I will tell you this. I do not think that the crash is happening. What I think is happening is a predictable slowdown due to kids being out of school, parents going on vacation in the middle of July, getting ready to put their kids back to school in August, and they're just so the period to sell your home, the period to sell your flip is between the May and June period. If you did not sell it between May and June, you can call it a crash, you can call it a slowdown, you can call it whatever you want. It's going to happen. And it's not like all of a sudden a bubble burst. There's no bubble. It's a seasonal. Let me stop this share. Let me go back to my presentation that I had last. Here, let's take a look. Here is our pricing. Our pricing is predictably up and down, no crash. Stable, consistent, year after year, seasonal change. How about this? Unsold inventory. Inventory is climbing just like it did in 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024. Inventory is climbing every single year. Newsflash, that's what inventory does after the summer. Does it mean that it's a crash situation? I don't think so. If you look at our months of inventory, we're still below 4. Now, once we get to 7 or 8%, once we get to 7 or 8 months of inventory, oh yeah, that at this point, I would say it would be safe to say that we are in a little bit of an emergency. But right now, we're not even up to 4 yet, and we're not even supposed to be called buyer's market until we're up to 4. So we're even slightly still in a seller's market according to months of inventory. But are we getting dangerously close to the buyer's market? Yes, we are, 100%. So I would not say that we have entered the market crash in DFW. What I would say is that our seasonal swing is going to affect the wholesalers and the flippers more than usual this year because of the higher number of homes competing for the same number of buyers. That's it. But the prices for those people who are shopping are affordable. Otherwise, they wouldn't be shopping, right? If they're coming and seeing your homes and they have pre-qualification letters, they can afford it. The prices are not that drastically lower. Now, will they go down? Of course they will. Does it mean that they're crashing no more than they crashed over here? If you want to talk about crash is here. That's a crash. This is a seasonal change. That's my take. What I would recommend is this. If you are a wholesaler, be mindful of the fact that right now, most of the flippers have been burned multiple times by having to sell not at the profit that they wanted to, or maybe even the loss, and they have been burned. If you are a flipper, just be aware that whenever you're talking with your off-market suppliers, do not blindly jump on their price Do not blindly go within an option period and buy the house with $5,000 or whatever unrefundable earnest money without even taking a look at what your plumbing or roofing or AC looks like, because the market is not supporting this kind of a reckless attitude. If you are going to be flipping, you can flip successfully, but you cannot flip recklessly. Reckless will not fly this year. It flight this year, it flight here, it's not flying here. Just get out of that mindset that just let me get the off-market property and I'll figure out the rest. The market is going to beat you up this year. So just go into option period, forget about people pressuring you not to have option period, do your inspections. Ooh, spend $500 on inspections to find out whether or not you have broken pipes underneath the house. What a thought. Resist the pressure of being no option. Do not give unrefundable earnest money. Be able to say no to properties. Understand that if you're buying here in June and your property is going to be, your flip is going to be ready in November, that's just not a good time to sell. In November, you're competing with too many other homes. In November, you have high days on the market. In November, you have very low demand. So be mindful that just because you have 70% ARV minus repairs formula and it's fitting your formula doesn't mean that it's still a good deal. It's a good deal if you're going to be selling it next July or next June or next May. But if you're going to be selling it this October, it's not a good deal. Or may not be a good deal. I don't know. It depends on the zip code. Is it in Frisco or is it in Louisville? Or in Weatherford? Big difference. So do not trust your formulas. Do not say 70% ARV, I'm good to go. No, you're not. 70% ARV minus repairs if you are planning to be ready for the market in May of 2025. Otherwise, you might find yourself here. And then your 70% ARV minus repairs might still leave you upside down. Just a FYI. Same for the wholesalers. If you're getting houses for, on the market, off-market houses from sellers right now, just be mindful that your investors, if they're not blind, 70% ARV minus your assignment fee may still not cut it. Why is it not cutting it? Because they know that they're going to be entering the market in a bad part of the market cycle. So just don't say, oh, nobody's buying my assignment deals anymore. Why not? Well, because based on the calculation, even with the formulas working, it's still not a deal for the investor because he's not going to be in the right side cycle. So just, I see a blind devotion to formulas that I observed in the marketplace. And to me, the market is too complex to fit into a formula, especially a slower declining market. That's all I have. It's my rant for the day. My name is Elena Garrett, and I'm a realtor in the Dallas-Fort Worth area of Texas. And here's my mandatory disclosure. My broker's name is Keller Williams Central, 75 in Richardson. If you want to argue with me, I will meet you in the alley behind my house. Let's go ahead and argument. Talk to you soon.